One player, one team for 21 seasons. A generational talent that reshaped the way the game is played.
Dirk with 4 to shoot.
An MVP.
Most Valuable Player Award, Dirk Nowitzki.
An NBA champion.
The Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. The emotions of Dirk Nowitzki. What he's always dreamed of.
An icon in the sport of basketball. The face of the Mavericks franchise.
Here it is.
Tonight, we honor the greatest Maverick of all time.
We made it. Episode 41, ladies and gentlemen. It's what everybody's been waiting for, I feel like.
This is the one, man.
I-
This is the one.
Like, this is the one, and then when we get to 77, if we make it to episode 77, I'm going to lose my mind. If Luka is not a Mav by episode 77, we might just skip straight to 78
Right.
if we're doing that, just in honor. R.I.P. Rest in
course.
peace, Luka as a Mav. It is episode 41, the Dirk episode, and we are going to hit on Dirk here in just a few moments. But first, you went on a nice little trip, and it's kind of an annual trip at this point. So
I did.
Go back
This
to
is
episode 2, right? Was that when we talked about last time?
I think so. This is
Yeah.
the second annual Yellowstone recap episode. So
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet. I had a good time again. It's nice being friends with a Yellowstone Park Ranger. So
Yeah.
shout out to her. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, man, we did Yellowstone again. It's a lot of driving.
That's what I was going to
But-
ask.
But it is. But this time, because we'd already gone, we'd seen the park before. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't been to every single corner of it, obviously, but we've seen a lot of it on our first trip. And this time it was just me and the missus. We didn't take our daughter, so, and no other family went. So it was just me and her. First plane ride with my wife
Really?
ever, with just her. Like, we've gone on family trips together, but this is the first time that we've ever gone on a trip just us.
Interesting.
So we were like, what the heck? Are you sure about that? Because we've been dating since high school, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Huh.
so this is the first time that we've ever actually just gone on a plane trip, just us two. We went on our honeymoon, but we drove. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Less driving this time, still a little bit, but one thing we did this time that I wanted to talk about a little bit was we went to Wade Lake.
Uh-huh.
So
Like Dwayne?
right, like Dwayne Wade. We went to the lake, and it was the most blue water I've ever seen in my life. Like, just, I don't know, pure melted snow or something. I have no idea, but it was just blue, crystal blue. You basically see to the bottom of the lake. And we rented some. Actually, we bought a kayak raft looking thing,
Yeah.
and then we rafted out there a little bit. And the idea was just to chill on the lake for a little bit. So we packed a little lunchbox. We had everything out there. We were kind of floating, and we look up about 30 minutes later, and because we were just talking and stuff, we had floated just about to the other side of this lake, and it's not small. It's a big one. And we realized that because the reason we had floated over there is because the wind had picked up quite a bit.
Ooh.
And so we turn around, and there are basically just waves on this lake.
Nice.
we have to paddle back in this plastic raft. And it was a workout. So that was a lot of fun. Shout out to CrossFit in Azle, Texas, for preparing me for these rowing exercises.
There
to be
you
able
go.
to be able to row on Wade Lake in the weather.
Wade Lake.
So we had a great time. Honestly, the best part of it was just hanging out at her house, just being able to sit around a fire and look at mountains and converse. So it was a good time. I love going. I'm sure we'll go back next year. I do have my Yellowstone cup that I'm drinking out of.
Gotta
Yep.
have a mug.
It's
Yep.
got a bison on it. Saw a bunch of those. So,
Nice. Nice.
lots of
They're
fun.
protected.
Good stuff.
That's
No
what that's
bears
kind
this
of
time.
our
That was
no
the only
bears?
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no bears. I think we saw way too many bears on our last trip, and so we just used it all up just
Oh, gotcha.
first turn. So,
Like,
but it's all
they
right.
saw
We
you.
had a good
They
time.
saw you coming. Like, we've already seen these people.
Right. There was a couple of jams, like, because if there's a traffic jam in Yellowstone, it's probably because somebody sees a bear and everybody just stops their car.
Yeah.
So there are a couple jams, but we didn't get to see the bears. But yeah, man, it was a good time. I like going to Yellowstone. So
Good. I'm glad
Cool
you're
stuff.
back because, like I said earlier, this is episode 41, and I have been waiting and waiting and waiting to do this episode. About 40 episodes worth I've been waiting because this is finally the Dirk episode. So what we're going to do, and this is not the only thing we're going to do, we're sticking to our yada yada, theme, I guess, at this point of sports and entertainment. So we're going to hit off with Dirk to start, and we're talking about our top 5 most underrated moments in Dirk's career. So the thought behind this was my idea, and the thought behind this is everybody has the same, I feel like, favorite Dirk moments. Like, you've got your 2011 game against the Heat, you've got your game against the Spurs in 06, like Game 7 against the Spurs. Then you've got like when he hit 30,000 points, when he passed Kareem, like when he did all this, not Kareem, but when he had his milestones. So I wanted to find what are some moments that maybe other people forgot about, but it's something you didn't forget about. So that's kind of the reason behind the underrated part of
But at the end of the day, Dirk's career is to everyone outside of DFW or that didn't grow up a Mavs fan, like, he's just underrated in general. So I feel like
100%.
Most of everything we throw on this list is going to be good to go for
Dirk
for that.
might be, because you said that, I'm going to have to pause and look this up because I think I have it saved. Dang, maybe I don't. Dirk might be the most underrated NBA player of all time, in my opinion. Man, I found a tweet or a social media post of stats of like great players who have played with the least amount of all-star teammates. And
Yeah.
Dirk was at the very top of the list. He's played with the least amount or the most games, most teammates that aren't all-stars or most games without an all-star teammate or something
Most
like that.
playoff wins without another all-star.
Maybe
or
it was
something like
playoff
that.
wins, something like that.
Or regular season wins. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember
The
you saying
point
that.
was, like, he's had the least amount of help of any superstar ever. And that just goes to show how underrated he is. A lot of people have Tim Duncan ahead of him. And to those people, I just say, you're wrong. He's not ahead of him. Giannis is not ahead of him. There is no power forward ahead of Dirk Nowitzki. He is a top 10 player in the NBA of all time. And I don't care if you don't agree with me because he is.
Look, I'm not going to argue with you on episode 41 that Dirk's not
right.
top 10. So
go back to episode 6 and you can hear us talk about that.
Right.
All right. So I'll start us off. Okay. My fifth favorite, most underrated, however you want to phrase that.
Yeah.
Moment. This is kind of cheating, but my fifth most favorite underrated moment of Dirk is his total embrace of the Luka Doncic draft and era. When Luka was drafted, Dirk was obviously on his way out. Luka got drafted in 2018. Dirk retired in 2019. And so they had 2 years there together where the Mavs had sucked for a long time, since 2011, really. And they had some moments in there between 2011 and Luka, but the Mavs have been terrible. And so the fact that we got Luka and Dirk looked happy again, he looked like he was glad to be playing. He looked like he kind of had a purpose to play other than just, I guess I'll just keep playing because there's nothing else to do. He started to embrace Luka. He started to teach Luka about the Mavs and Dallas and the loyalty and the MFFL family. And it just really, obviously it rubbed off on Luka just based on his reaction to being traded. And so I just think it just goes back to his personality. He's just a good dude. He's just a really good human being. Not just a good basketball player, but I think it just goes back to that and how he loved Luka because Dirk knew, like, Luka's special. and he knew he could have this kind of father figure role with Luka, because they had other draft picks like Dennis Smith Jr. was there as well. And not to say Dirk didn't help, DSJ, but obviously he didn't make it as a Mav. And he wasn't as good as Luka too, but that's beside the point. I think Dirk had a feeling about Luka, like this kid could take over my position as the Mavs player and the favorite guy in the city. And so his embrace of Luka, the fact that he taught him and was kind of a father figure to him, and just even after he retired, they stayed in touch. They still stay in touch. Obviously, it's just a little bit different with him being on the Lakers now.
Right.
But Dirk, he came to games. He messed around with Luka when Dirk was in the tunnel after he retired. Like Luka's running up to him and messing with him. Like they just had a really good relationship, and it just made Mavs fans happy. And that's really what sports are all about. And so at number 5, I've got Dirk's his embrace of Luka is how I titled that.
Right, because it's so cool to see your franchise cornerstone being able to pass the baton to somebody that is, has potential to become more talented than Dirk ever was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's just that never happens. So that was a really cool moment to be a Mavs fan.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's awesome. My number 5, I'm taking you back to 2014.
Okay.
2014, round 1. I don't know if you remember who won the championship in 2014. Do you remember?
I do remember it was the Spurs.
It was the Spurs.
Yeah.
And guess who the only team in the playoff was to take them to Game 7?
Okay, hang on. Because this is on my list too. So we're just gonna both hit it at the same time. This is actually my number 1 moment. Most underrated Dirk moment is this 2014 first round series against the Spurs. And to answer your question, which team took that number 1 seed, by the way, the Mavs were an 8 seed. And the only team to take that 1 seed Spurs, 62 win team Spurs, to 7 games that year was Dirk Nowitzki and his Dallas Mavericks.
And just remember back, people, because this 2014 Spurs team was, in my opinion, probably playing like the most beautiful brand of basketball that might have ever existed. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the level of just coaching and teamwork and passing that they were at that time. And the Mavs took them to 7 games in 2014.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So for those that don't remember, everybody remembers that Vince Carter buzzer beater in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was game 3 of that series. This is the same series that Vince Carter hit that shot. That was to go up 2-1 in that series. So not only did they take them to 7, they were up 2-1 going into game 4. But they could have not very easily, but they had a very real chance to have won game 1 as well and gone up 3-0. They were up, I went back and looked, they were up 10 with 7 minutes and 45 seconds left in game 1, which is the game they lost to. It was 2-1 after Vince Carter hit that shot. So if Vince Carter hits that shot and they win game 1, technically it's 3-0. Obviously different things could have happened, but it's more fun to live in the hypothetical. So they were up 10 with 7 minutes and 45 seconds left in game 1. Then they went scoreless over the next 5 minutes, and they didn't hit another shot until Devin Harris made a layup like at the buzzer. So they were up 10 and then didn't make another field goal. And that's basically what lost them the game. So they could have very easily been up 3-0 on the 2014 Spurs, who ended up beating LeBron and his big 3 with the Miami Heat.
Right.
Like, amazing. Fantastic. So just kind of a side note, the Spurs team that they played, this was a young Kawhi. 2014 was kind of Kawhi's coming out party. Like, this is the series that he kind of shut down LeBron, defended LeBron very well. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, they were kind of all on their way out. And and Kawhi was kind of this new kid on the block. And they won the championship. But the fact that the Dallas Mavericks in 2014, here's at least two players that were on that team. Vince Carter is one, obviously. Monte Ellis was on that team. All right. So Dirk, Monte Ellis, and Vince Carter. All like it was basically all like their last hurrah. Like, let's just see what we can do this last time around. Because I don't even know if they all made the playoffs again or what happened after that. But
Monte must have. I mean, was he pretty young at that point? Because he played through. I don't remember. I thought he was on the Mavs until like maybe 16 or 17 or something.
Yeah, he was definitely the younger. I mean, compared to Dirk and Vince Carter, he was definitely younger. Monte just kind of bounced around teams, and it was kind of Monte's team at times. Was the Dallas Mavericks. Like he was pretty good at times, and then kind of disappeared at times. But yeah, so that's my number one is that series. That's my most underrated Dirk moment. The fact that he took that team to 7 games in 2014, kind of after his prime, and they had a chance to be up 3-0. It was fun. And I remember watching that game. I actually have some buddies from high school that were at that game when Vince Carter hit that shot. And so it was just a fun moment. It's kind of I remember where I was at when Vince Carter hit that shot. I remember where I was at when that series, it was a good series, and obviously it would have been awesome if they would have beat them. But yeah, it was a 1 versus 8 seed. The Spurs had 62 wins that year. I think the Mavs had like 49, which is pretty good as an 8 seed. But yeah, so that's my number one, that 2014 first round series. That was your number 5, I'm assuming?
That was my number 5. Yeah. But like, I mean, yeah, these were all, I mean, these moments are, that was my number 5. My number 4, is kind of a bittersweet one, but just the fact that, Dirk's MVP is obviously overshadowed by the, one of the greatest upsets in the history of the NBA in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 seed losing to an 8 seed in the Warriors. And that could have, I feel like winning the MVP that year, getting knocked out of the finals as a 1 seed could have been like a career ender. Like, people were throwing out Dirk soft. He's just a scorer in the playoffs. He can't win. You know what I mean? He can't lead a team to a championship. He's not the number 1 guy. And just, I feel like just the fact that after winning that MVP, after having to stand up there, after already losing the series, and having to stand up there and get that trophy. He's talked about it a million times on podcasts, just like he wanted to just not be there, give it to somebody else. I want to get back to the gym and work for the next season. This is embarrassing. But just the fact that he didn't allow that to be a career ender, like, just this is kind of, my number 4 is more in line with Dirk's work ethic, like just being able to be resilient and be the leader that he is and get the team back to the finals in 2011. After that happening, after people calling him soft, and just, kind of changing the perspective on what Europeans could do in the league. So I have my number 4 is winning the MVP, which is, the Mavs won 67 games that year, 60 something, but
yeah.
And no one talks about Dirk's MVP year because they did get knocked out in the first round, but I think it should be acknowledged, and I think his work ethic to get back after that upset should be acknowledged, and so that's what I have at number 4.
Yeah, that's a good one. His work ethic was obviously not something that he talked about necessarily, but it showed, I guess, on the court how hard he worked, because he had to work hard. Like, everybody knows he wasn't the most athletic dude on earth. So he had to have a lot of fundamentals and skills in order to be on the court in general, much less score 30-something thousand points.
Right.
All right, my number 4 is an actual moment, an actual play that was about 5 seconds long, but it's one of my favorite Dirk clips ever. And I wish I would have saved it and uploaded it like I did that one time, but so we could watch it. But Dirk in 2018. Okay, so this is Luka's rookie year.
Yeah.
Okay, the Golden State Warriors. All right, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Kevin Durant. So this is that Golden State Warriors team. Greatest team ever assembled, if you ask me, is that team.
That's fair enough.
Draymond Green, who is a fellow podcaster, friend of the show. Draymond Green won Defensive Player of the Year the season before. So he won it in 2017. So Draymond's at the peak of his career. All right. The Warriors are basically at the peak of their dynasty, if you want to call it a dynasty. And Dirk in 2018 has a play where they're in Golden State, and Draymond is closing out to Dirk, and Dirk pump fakes at the 3-point line, and Draymond goes flying by him. Dirk takes one dribble to get to the elbow. This is how long it takes Dirk to get to the elbow. Draymond lands and recovers, and Dirk gets to the elbow, pump fakes again, and Draymond goes flying by him again, and Dirk just drains the elbow jumper. So he pump fakes, Draymond goes by, takes one dribble, pull up, pump fakes, Draymond goes flying by again, and he just drains it. Like, that just goes to show, like, Dirk is just – it was just a funny clip because you could – like, the way he moved, he was so old and, like, couldn't move very well. But he was still smart enough. He's kind of that old guy, like, at an open gym with a bunch of high school kids. Like, you guys are athletic, but I'm smarter and I'm more skilled than you, and I've been around longer than you, and so I understand it better. And so that clip is just funny to me. But I had my last point with that clip was, like, I just hate Draymond, and so that makes it that much better that he did it to Draymond Green. But yeah, I had that specific play at number 4.
That's pretty sweet. That's good. I love watching Dirk shoot elbow jumpers. I can do it all day.
Do you remember? Have you seen that clip? I'll send it to you when we're done.
Yeah, send it to me. I mean, I'm sure I've watched it
after this.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. So great.
My number 3 is it's not a specific moment again, but it's Dirk's loyalty to Dallas. The loyalty never fades away. Which I feel like that is something that is getting more and more rare. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, just loyalty to Dallas through all the early struggles, loyalty to Dallas through the super team era when everyone's teaming up together and he's sticking with his city. You know, I mean, especially after 2011, you know, I mean, we just talked about them taking the Spurs to 7 games in 2014. So he had some left in his tank after 2011. He didn't know Dallas anything after that championship. He could have, you know, rode off into the sunset and gone and teamed up with Kobe. Like Kobe has talked about, you know, Kobe talked about wanting to recruit Dirk a couple times and Dirk turning him down, staying with Dallas. And yeah, I mean, he could have gone and joined anybody and probably won more rings, but just the fact that he stuck around, he stayed with Dallas. Loyalties, that's what's ingrained into us as Dallas fans, is loyalty. And so Dirk setting that tone and sticking with the city despite all of the crap and all of the times where, you know, maybe, you know, Cuban or management or whoever could have put together a better team around him. And having to deal with that, but man, that one championship is heavy. So maybe the heaviest, the heaviest. I'll say, but yeah, just his loyalty to Dallas at number 3 for me.
Yeah, well, and you say loyalty is getting more rare and like more rare nowadays, and that's true. But I also think it's kind of sticking around. Like, there hasn't been as much of that. Obviously, LeBron is kind of the reason behind the super teams and people leaving and teaming up, and he kind of started it all, I guess. And it's kind of gone away. Like the superstars in the league, like Steph stayed around. Obviously Kevin Durant, LeBron, James Harden, those guys kind of bounced around, but like Giannis is, as much as he doesn't want to be, or the Bucks don't want him to be, he's still on the Bucks. Jokic is still on the Nuggets. Like, Shea seems to love the Thunder. You know, those guys are it happens I guess, less than it used to, but it still happens. But even like not even just the NBA, like you look at college sports right now, like loyalty is not even a thing. Kids leave after 1 year, which
Right.
that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, loyalty never fades away. I'm very anxious to see. We didn't even mention the Mavs leaving the American Airlines Center. So I'm very anxious to see what they do with Dirk's statue. Obviously, they'll probably take it with them to the new arena. But also, the street in front of American Airlines Center is called Nowitzki Way. So are they gonna take that with them or take that with you? Um, I don't know. But anyway, my number 3. Okay, this was another moment in time, and this was a rough time in Mavs um, in Mavs history, I guess. This was the 2013 season. Okay. So 2 years removed from the championship, and the Mavs are struggling. Okay. And they were not very good. They were struggling. I remember watching this game. The Mavs were in a playoff race at this time. Okay. They were like, they finished this 2013 season at like 500. They were like 49-49 or something like that. And they were in a playoff race. This was late in the season, and they were playing the Bulls. And the Bulls were a playoff team this year, and they were a good team. This was a young Jimmy Butler Bulls team, okay? And wouldn't you know it, old man Dirk. This is the bearded Dirk era. Remember when Dirk had a beard for a little bit, like just a big, grizzly, gross beard?
That was pretty
This was
sweet.
that year, and I think that was kind of a symbolism of to get a little Shakespearean on you. I
There you
think that
go.
was a little symbolism into how gloomy the Mavs were at the time. Like Dirk wasn't even taking care of himself. He wasn't even shaving. He had this big bushy beard, and he hits a game winner against Chicago, the Bulls, in 2013. And I remember watching this game, and I think that's just why I have it at number 3 because it's kind of nostalgic. But it kind of goes back to your work ethic talk about Dirk. Like he was still trying to win games in 2013. They were in a playoff race. Like they weren't one of the best teams in the NBA, but he was still trying to win every game, and he was hitting game winners. And so that game winner versus Chicago in 2013, there's an awesome picture of him holding up the 3 fingers, like with a giant beard and just screaming. And you could just tell he was like worn down and gross. And I think once again, it just kind of symbolized the gloominess behind the post 2011 championship because they did win. And then after that, they kind of had the lockout the next year. And then the next year was 2013. They were on the brink of the playoffs. They didn't end up making the playoffs, but it just goes again to Dirk's work ethic a little bit. And I just remember that game winner against Chicago in 2013 with the giant beard. So that's my number 3 most underrated Dirk moment.
I do miss the Dirk beard.
Yeah,
That
he
was a
should have
good
had
time.
it. Should have had it for longer. It was a good look.
It was. All right, my number 2. My number 2 is probably only going to be underrated to people that aren't from Dallas. But I don't know, maybe people forgot, but this was in the 2011 the championship run. But this is their game 1 versus OKC.
Mhm.
Game 1 versus OKC. Dirk drops 48 points
Yep.
in game 1 and shoots 20. He makes 24 out of 24 free throws. And I
Yep.
just love that. I love that about Dirk. But I
Yep.
mean, it set the tone for the whole series. This was a young, hungry OKC team with a pretty stacked young
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah.
On the come up, and he just was their daddy for that game. So
Yes, he was. And the rest
So
of the series too.
and the rest of the series. So I have that at number 2. I love rewatching. I love rewatching that run. So and that game was crazy. So
Yeah.
48 points on OKC in game 1.
I feel like that was kind of I don't think the Mavs, they might have been favored, but probably not. Anyway, I feel like that, like you said, it kind of set the tone. Like the Mavs were Dirk is not gone. Like, he just had 48 in the Western Conference Finals, and they just swept Kobe, who was the back-to-back, NBA champion. And so I think it's just kind of solidified again, like, okay, maybe the Mavs are for real. That's a good one. All right, my number 2 is kind of another cheat, I guess, because it spans over like 6 years. And it is the fact that he made the Mavs watchable from 2012 to 2018, which was basically the year after they won the finals to the year Luka was drafted. Dirk was the only reason people tuned in. We have a chance because we have Dirk. And so he made the Mavs watchable. I actually found an article from Mavs Moneyball. And this was written in 2017. And it lists, they ranked their all-time Dirk teammates since 2011 to 2017, basically. Take a guess. You're not going to get it. But take a guess at who you think number 1 is.
All time?
From 2011 on.
Oh, from 2011
to 2017. So you got to kind of think. You probably won't remember because it's
my Lord.
that was a long time ago. But
I'm thinking of I'm just thinking like our team was so starving for talent that Chandler when we got Chandler Parsons, that was like, we got a chance. We got freaking Parsons.
Yeah, we're going to pay him $500 billion, and he's not going to play a full season ever.
So stupid. Like, we were so excited for Chandler Parsons just because we had nobody else.
Yeah. Which Chandler Parsons wasn't bad at the time. He was just
but I mean, he was never
what we hyped him up.
He was never going to be a number 2 guy on a championship team.
Yeah, right. Or much less a number 1.
Right.
Like he was paid to be. Chandler Parsons is number 3 on this list. Number 2 is Monte Ellis.
Okay.
And number 1, these guys think, and they might be right, I don't know, just the way they word it. I'm not going to read the whole article, but their argument behind it does make kind of make sense. But their best Dirk teammate from 2011 to 2017 is Harrison Barnes.
I was thinking it could have been Harry B.
Harrison Barnes is Harry B. The fact that they kind of explain a little bit, like, he was the most reliable. He was good, obviously. He still is good. I mean, he's on a finals team right now.
Yeah.
And he was really good back then. And he was just always there. He was very reliable. He could give you 15 a game, 20 a game, 8 or 9 rebounds. Like, he was going to play defense. He was pretty athletic. He could shoot pretty good. Like, he was a good teammate, but that just goes into the fact that kind of what I mentioned earlier, like, Dirk never really had any help outside of 2011. But yeah, Chandler Parsons was number 3. Tyson Chandler is number 4, which he was old at the time. Nerlens Noel at number 5.
Nerlens.
Fifth best Dirk teammate from 2011 to 2017.
Wasn't Tyson Chandler on didn't he go to the Knicks the year after we won the championship?
Yeah, he went to the Knicks and then he came back, I think, and was
not long after that. Okay.
Not quite what he was.
Gotcha.
Seth Curry's on there, Vince Carter, Wesley Matthews, Jason Terry, JJ Barea rounds out the top 10.
Man.
And number 77, which of course they stop at 77 on the rankings, but the 77th worst teammate of Dirk from 2011 to 2017, Rajon Rondo. Because he was just a horrible human being. So yeah, the fact that Dirk made the Mavs watchable from that time, he made it enjoyable to watch the Mavs. Like, I just want to watch Dirk play basketball. That's really the only reason that people were watching the Mavs. Obviously, you had the 2014 team that kind of made it exciting. They went to the playoffs a couple other times, but they were just never like, all right, we got a chance this year. And so the fact that he, this kind of goes to your loyalty point as well. The fact that he stuck with the Dallas Mavericks through the ups and downs of those years, like you said, the Parsons signing, and then him not panning out. And we had to pay him so much money, so then we couldn't get other free agents. We couldn't trade for people because his contract was so terrible. The DeAndre Jordan debacle, where it kind of goes with Chandler Parsons, like, we're about to get DeAndre Jordan. It's not that big of a deal.
Franchise cornerstone, DeAndre Jordan.
He was a good defender at the time, but he couldn't really do anything else.
Right. He can catch some lobs.
Yeah. And then Rondo, like the whole Rondo debacle. I remember when we signed Rondo and seeing it on ESPN and being super excited. And then like that didn't pan out. I mean, some of his teammates, Vince Carter, old Vince Carter, Devin Harris, Brandon Wright was a starting center for a long time for the Mavs. And so the fact that Dirk just stuck it out and made the Mavs fun to watch, made an MFFL stay for life,
right,
just goes to show how much we love Dirk and how valuable he is to the Dallas Mavericks. So
yeah, like Dirk, I mean, Dirk never got to play with another that I know of. I don't think Dirk ever got to play with another Hall of Famer in their prime.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you could argue
Steve
Jason
Nash,
Kidd was right out of his prime.
Right, like Jason Kidd at that point, like he wasn't a top 5 point guard in the league in 2011.
Probably not. No.
But yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway,
well,
that was my number 2, and I've already said my number 1. So
right. Well, my number 1 again, 2011. Dallas people are going to be pretty familiar with this one, but when you think about Dirk, you think about the fadeaway, you think about the finesse, you think about free throws. But in 2011, to seal game 2, Dirk hits a lefty layup. He takes Chris Bosh off the dribble, a young athletic Chris Bosh, takes him off the dribble and hits a lefty layup to seal game 2 in the finals.
To come back,
yes.
Yeah, they were down like 14 or something like that with like 6 minutes left, I think.
Yeah. And he comes back and hits that lefty layup. And it's just, people don't think about, that. I mean, that's just not something that I feel like is brought up a whole lot when they talk about Dirk's game, is his ability to get to the basket when it's necessary. And it's pretty necessary when you're in the finals. So, but that lefty layup, I think is for me, like the most underrated thing that Dirk has done. Just because people don't talk about it. They talk about the fadeaways, they talk about the free throws and all that finesse stuff. But he took Chris Bosh off the dribble and made a layup.
Yeah. And it was one of those, like, it wasn't a quick move. Like he took a dribble, kind of hesitated a second. Chris Bosh stood up, and then he kind of turned the corner, got an elbow on him, and went and finished. Like, it was beautiful. Pure fundamental skill from Dirk Nowitzki. Just greatness.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That's our top 5 underrated Dirk moments. Shout out to Dirk Nowitzki. He will forever be my favorite athlete of all time. For sure, favorite Dallas athlete. He is the GOAT of Dallas sports. He's above Troy Aikman. He's above Roger Staubach. He's above Nolan Ryan. He's above Adrian Beltre. He's above Michael Young, Josh Hamilton, any Rangers player, any Cowboys player, for sure any Mavs player, and also any Stars player. Dirk is the greatest Dallas sports athlete of all time. And if you don't like it, then you're wrong. So I love Dirk Nowitzki.
I agree with you on that one, man.
Yeah.
Dirk's the GOAT.
All right. Well, there you have it. So moving on to our next topic. You want to bring us into our
Yes, let's bring us smoothly into our next topic here.
That eloquently brings us.
Well, as you know, yada yada, we've been splitting these episodes basically right down the middle, half sports, half entertainment, movies, TV shows, music, whatever it is. And so this second half of this episode, we got to talking about some secret agent, spy, hitman action franchises the other day. And so we thought, let's just rank them, because that's what we're best at here on Yada Yada. So we're gonna rank our top 5. Actually, did we decide on 6? Is that right? Or we're gonna do our top?
I have 4 and a 5th one, but
4 and a 5th. All right.
So
sounds
5,
good.
I guess.
We'll do 5.
But you're getting I have one, and I also have 2 through 5.
I do have a one honorable mention. So
That's
I'll start. I'll start
It's
with
yada
my.
yada, man. You
It's
do whatever
yada
you
yada.
want.
I'll start with my honorable mention, but I bet it's on your list.
Yeah, probably.
But this is just because I'm not that familiar, because we had talked about a couple in the running, but I'm not that familiar with the Jack Ryan series. I haven't watched a whole. I've watched a couple episodes on Amazon, I think is what it is. And
Yep.
then I've seen like, and I like Jack Ryan's been around a while just because of the books, and they've
Yeah.
made quite a few movie adaptations, I believe. I don't know if
Yep.
Harrison Ford plays him in one, and then like, but I've seen The Hunt for Red October, and I really like The Hunt for Red October. And so, but that's like carrying my Jack Ryan appreciation. I don't have a lot of familiarity with a lot of the other stuff. So, and he's competing with some really top stuff that I enjoy in movies and TV.
Yeah.
So Jack Ryan's going to be my one honorable mention for this list.
I didn't have an honorable mention, so I'll jump straight into number 5.
Go for it.
This is what I mean by a 4 and a 5th. The 5th one I've never seen, never watched, is the Jack Reacher movies, which is Tom Cruise. But it's also, there's Jack Reacher, and then there's Reacher. The new one is the Reacher with the jacked human being, just massive
Thad
guy.
Castle. Yeah.
He is just a behemoth of a man.
He is.
But I actually think I might have watched like one episode of that Reacher series. But I never saw the Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise early in his career. And so just to round out my top 5, I just put it on the list. I guess you could make it an honorable mention. But I've never seen really any of the Jack Reachers. It's kind of like you with Jack Ryan. Like I'm not as familiar with them. So I just had him at number 5.
Gotcha. Well, I will be talking about Jack Reacher here in a little bit. So
all right. Get me excited because I kind of want to.
Yeah.
I like the spy secret agent movies, and so
yeah, man,
I need a new one to watch.
No, Reacher's good. Yeah, I'll talk about it here in a second. My number 5 might be a surprise or a hot take, but I have Jason Bourne, the Bourne franchise, at number 5.
Oh my gosh! What's wrong with you?
Listen, here's what I appreciate Bourne for.
No, please tell me.
The Bourne franchise upped the ante for hand-to-hand combat in movies. Hand-to-hand action combat. All right. So that's what I'm going to give it its credit for. It's got the probably, I mean, it's close, but I would, the best of the Jason Bourne hand-to-hand combat scenes is just as good as any of the other ones on my list, because it raised the bar for hand-to-hand combat in movies. That said, I'm not a huge Bourne fan. I'm not as big on Matt Damon as most people that I know. I just, for whatever reason, man, I'm just not a huge Matt Damon fan. I'm gonna give the Odyssey a chance though. And
please,
he is Odysseus. So
yeah. Plus it's Christopher Nolan too.
Plus it's Christopher Nolan, and in him I trust. But yeah, I mean, the Bourne movies I've just never felt the urge to rewatch them. I've watched them, I watched the trilogy, and then I saw, I think Jason Bourne is what it was called, in theaters. Like the one where he's kind of older and he comes back. But that trilogy is good. I mean, I have it. It's in my top 5.
Yeah. Of 6.
Of 6. But I mean, what I like about Bourne is like he's just maybe the most like competent of all of the secret agents. Like honestly, if I put him in a room with these other guys, I might take Bourne. But that's really not what there's some criteria here.
Please tell me your criteria, because that's something we never discussed beforehand on these rankings. It's just like, I think this is the best because of this. Well, I think it's the best because of this.
Right. Okay. So here's the deal. So my first thing was quality of the franchise. All right. Okay. So and that's a big one. And here's the deal with Jason Bourne. there are 3 good movies. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
So it is a smaller franchise.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's the first thing. Okay,
Okay.
you're dealing. I mean, Bond has 26 movies. There's a
Yeah.
lot of bad, but there's a lot of good in Bond
Yeah.
too.
You've been around a
Uh,
while.
yeah. I mean, Mission Impossible has whatever, like 8 at this point,
I think
7 or 8.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's the smallest one. And
I got
Reacher,
you.
you have a full TV show. So it's the smallest one.
Okay.
And then I also have his, so Rule of Cool. That's one of
Okay.
them here. Okay.
Gotcha.
I
Right.
do think that he's slightly less cool.
He's a little dorky.
He's a little dorky.
Yeah. Because
Than
he's
the
like made in a lab, basically.
right, he has no like he doesn't know who he is, you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're discovering who he is as he's discovering who he is, which is
Okay.
interesting. But
Okay.
I'm watching a secret agent action movie, so this is my criteria.
Okay.
And then I also have his or the effectiveness as a secret agent, which again, I think the reason this lands lower is that the franchise just it lost some momentum. It's just that original trilogy. All right. I mean, as an operative, Bourne might actually be the most dangerous person on this list.
Yeah.
But I'm not as entertained watching these movies. And when I'm watching like a big action franchise, there's a lot of different ingredients that I'm looking for. And Bourne is very, very kind of niche, very specific
Okay.
narrative, and it's like shaky cam, like the cameraman was hopped up on caffeine or something because he's just going nuts.
Getting dizzy.
He's getting dizzy, man. And I'm not a huge fan of the shaky cam that Bourne made.
Okay.
Very
All right.
popular. But
I
anyway,
think that's a hot take. I think
it's a hot
be a
take
hot
too.
take.
But
Yeah.
I do have that at number 5. So
Well, I'll go ahead and talk about him. I mean, not more than we already have, but that's my number 1, Jason Bourne. Of course, your number 5 is my number 1 when it comes to movies. I don't really have any criteria other than I freaking love Jason Bourne. I think he's a hoss. I just
input that quote of the Duck Dynasty guy talking about Jason Bourne. Have you
yeah,
seen that?
Phil. Yeah, they're in Hawaii and everybody's like out on the beach and he's in his hotel room watching Jason Bourne. Bourne's on the TV. Anyway, I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot more to add than I mean, I agree with you. It's not a long, you know, it doesn't have a bunch of movies with it. There's just 3 really. There's 5 technically. But the original trilogy are the 3 that are good. The 5th one's kind of good because it's actually Matt Damon. The 4th one is Hawkeye, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, the spinoff or
it-
whatever.
Yeah, and so it wasn't even really the same Jason Bourne. It's a good movie. It's a good, singular movie, but it's not the same as the trilogy.
I think
And so I just
also maybe the reason that it falls a little lower for me is maybe that like the plot line of him, like the amnesia plot line of him uncovering everything slowly. I don't know. Maybe once I saw it once, like I was like, oh, that was cool. I
Yeah.
don't need to see him go through all that again. But
Right.
I don't know.
And that's really like that's half of the storyline, really, if not more. Like, is him trying to figure out who he is and how he became who he is. And the other half is him fighting people and killing people to get to that point. I just think he has cool moments. There's cool scenes. The one where he calls what's her name and he's looking through a scope and he tells her to turn around like he's watching her and it's just he had cool like one-liners, little moments. And I just love Jason Bourne. So I've got him at my number 1, but you're number 5.
Well,
so
That's
let us know,
enough.
chat.
That is
My number
fair
4,
enough.
I'll go number 4.
Yeah, go
okay.
for it.
It's not a whole lot different than number 5. I've just seen it more times. But I am starting to become. I was a Jack Ryan fan when it first came out, strictly because it has John Krasinski. And I was watching it, and I think I finished the first season. When it first came out, I watched it pretty quickly, and I just haven't gotten back into it. There is a new Jack Ryan movie out with John Krasinski. And I did start that, and then my daughter woke up, and so I haven't finished it. And so got a little busy, but Jack Ryan's my number 4. Basically, I like John Krasinski. I think he's a cool dude. He was kind of a nerdy analyst turned spy. And so it kind of, there's a little bit of aura there with him, like not as much as James Bond, but he's kind of he's got kind of a chip on his shoulder kind of thing. So I had Jack Ryan at number 4. I like Jack Ryan.
There you go. He's got like sneaky. It's the spy equivalent of like sneaky athleticism.
Yeah,
Whatever
you
that
look like
is,
a nerd, but you're really a hoss spy.
right.
You look like a slow white guy, but you're really good at basketball.
Right. Exactly. All right. Cool. Well, my number 4 is Jack Reacher. My wife and I really. I saw the Tom Cruise movie back in the day, and I thought it was fine. You know, it's kind of just a by the numbers action movie with Tom Cruise, which was good enough because I like Tom Cruise.
Right.
But that Amazon series, my wife and I watched the first and second season together, and we haven't watched the third season yet, but we plan to when we have some time. But we really enjoy Reacher on Amazon. He's so huge. I think in the books he's supposed to be like your height, but like the weight of, I don't know, like 260 pounds or something ridiculous. But
pure muscle.
Yeah, just jacked. And
Johnny Bravo. He reminds me of Johnny Bravo.
He's got some Johnny Bravo,
just without the hair.
The Johnny Bravo build for sure.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact that because he's not really a spy per se.
Yeah.
He's more of a he's like an ex-military, you know, like investigator, special forces type of guy. But I like the setup. Like it lends itself so well to a TV show because Reacher, he just wanders. I mean, he's a guy that doesn't own a house. So that's how the TV show goes. Like he literally just a wanderer. He'll wander from town to town, and he'll wander into something, and he'll get himself caught up in some kind of local investigation, something going on that's crazy. He'll stay. He'll beat the bad guys, and then he'll move on to the next town, and you know, rinse and repeat. And it's just such a cool setup because it's a different mystery every time. You know, each season is different. And each season he gets to have some great, you know, there's great investigative stuff. There's great action. So it's just and there's also a great, like, kind of like, you know, set of, characters that they surround him with in each season. Each season it's different. So he gets a different gang to go and solve stuff with. So
gotcha.
But yeah, man, I really like Reacher on Amazon, and I like that actor's performance. What's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking on his name right now. Let me look it up before I
the giant guy?
Yeah.
You said it a second ago.
Alan Ritchson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan Ritchson. His performance is really cool. So yeah, man, Jack Reacher at number 4 for me.
There you go. My number 3, we're getting into the 3 that I've actually seen the most. Not that I haven't seen Jack Ryan, but I haven't seen him as much as these other ones. My number 3 is Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible. The Mission Impossibles, they're not. I like the Mission Impossibles, and I actually have seen all of them except the most recent one that came out like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
I have actually seen all. I think there's 10. If I'm not mistaken.
There's a few, yeah.
And
I think
we could easily
Fallout
look that up, but
7, so I think there's been 8, maybe 9 at this point. Yeah, something like that, but there's a lot.
Yeah, but I actually have seen them all, and I do think they are good. I think they're kind of that action comedy a little bit. Like there's some funny parts to it. There's some characters that are funny. His sidekicks are pretty quirky. I like how they kind of tie all of them together a little bit. Like there's some Easter eggs in there that kind of go with the other Mission Impossibles. I do enjoy, I feel like a 2.5, 3 hour Mission Impossible movie goes by quickly. Like, because there's so much action, you're always on the edge of your seat. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
I feel like they're a little watered down a little bit, the Mission Impossibles, because there are so many of them. But I do like the fact that it's basically the same characters in all of them in terms of the main characters and his sidekicks. There's different enemies, obviously, and he gets some different sidekicks at some point. But they are all kind of the same. They are nonstop action. Um, I do like Tom Cruise, and so I have Ethan Hunt with Mission Impossible at my number 3.
Very cool. I'll go ahead and talk about it because it's my number 2.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Ethan Hunt, Mission Impossible, my number 2. I grew up on this franchise, and here's what I love so much about the Mission Impossible franchise: those first 5 movies, really, um, from from the original Mission Impossible all the way through Rogue Nation. I want to say is the 5th one. But those first 5 movies feel really, I mean, my favorite of the first 4, but even Rogue Nation, each one is, I feel like yes, there's the same formula that they kind of follow with, there's the impossible mission. He gets called in, he gets a team together. It looks like he's not going to do it, and then he ends up doing it at the end. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but they all follow that formula, but it's one that works, and it's one that for a while there with those first 5 movies, each director, like they had a different director every movie. So they had,
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. So they had a different director. I mean, it started with oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. Sorry. Mission Impossible director. It started with a very well-known Brian De Palma. So it started with Brian De Palma, it goes into John Woo, and then it goes into J.J. Abrams, and then Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles. And it's just like all this slew of really talented. I mean, J.J. Abrams up for debate, but I like what he's given when he's not writing. But yeah, so I mean, it's this slew of really talented directors, each taking that formula and putting their own spin on it, and that was really cool for a while. Like the first one and the second one are so different, and I'm a big defender of Mission Impossible 2. Most people call it the worst in the franchise. I think it's freaking awesome. I love every single part of it, even the slow motion doves flying behind him. It's great. But yeah, man, Mission Impossible, I have it at my number 2 because of the franchise. I feel like Ethan Hunt is like he's not necessarily the icon of the spy action franchises, but I feel like he's like the friend that you would want to have.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
in a franchise like that, Ethan Hunt's like your number 1 guy, So, and that's what it feels like watching those movies is watching your old friend. And I do feel like the last 3, really since Fallout, have all felt pretty samey. Like I feel like you said, they've kind of gotten a little played out, but so I haven't enjoyed those as much. But those first 4 or 5 are really great. And I think Ghost Protocol is my favorite. Maybe the second one, but Ghost Protocol is probably my favorite. So number 2, Ethan Hunt, Mission Impossible.
What's number 3? Since you skipped 3 to go to 2.
Yeah, my number 3 is John Wick.
I meant to put him on my honorable mention. We talked about that earlier.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I didn't.
Well,
my fault.
There you go.
Don't give me any
your
hate
honorable
out
mention.
there, people.
This is like spy/action franchises.
Yeah,
so.
right. Yeah. To be fair, I didn't know who John Wick was. This may be why I forgot him. I didn't know who John Wick was until his Fortnite skin came out. So that goes to show you my lack of knowledge on the subject. But I do like him now that I know who he is. I've grown to like him.
There you go. Yeah, these movies are they're the ones that suspend the disbelief the most. Like they make him basically a superhero. Like there's no like supernatural stuff going on really, but I mean he's falling like 40 feet and just slamming into a car and just getting up, walking it off. And
He's
it's
all right.
just,
Yeah.
I mean, but Keanu's performance, I mean, this might go down, other than Neo in The Matrix, this is definitely going to go down as his most iconic character of all time. And he's had quite a few.
Yeah.
And man, I love how simple the first one was. It's just like a guy that his dog dies and he's mad and he's an ex-hitman, and he's just gonna go kill absolutely everybody on screen until he gets revenge on the guy that killed his dog. So, I mean, it's so simple,
Yeah.
and it's so awesome, and he's probably in as far as the rule of cool goes, he's second on this list to only one guy.
Yeah.
But he's the modern like gunslinger. I mean, he's got like a bulletproof suit, just a regular suit, just bulletproof. It's awesome.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Yeah, he's got the hair and the beard, and he's just a cool guy. Keanu, just basically just being Keanu.
Yeah.
And it also, so talk about Bourne upping the ante for action movies at the time, hand-to-hand fight scenes at least. John Wick took it to a whole nother level. There hasn't been better choreographed action in a movie, in my opinion, than there is in the John Wick franchise. There's just nothing like it. Like the action scenes, the combat scenes, the shooting. I mean, just Keanu Reeves' proficiency with just weapons in this movie or in all these movies is ridiculous. So it's cool to watch Keanu be the Baba Yaga, be the hitman, kill the man with a pencil. So that's
He did.
impressive.
Just like the Joker.
Right. That's true. But yeah, man. John Wick, number 3.
I like it.
And then I had MI at number 2. So
Yeah. Like I said a second ago, I did mean to have John Wick. He does have some rule of cool. He does have some aura about him. No doubt. I feel like it's the suit.
Right.
Agents, Mission Impossible. I mean, not Mission Impossible. Like secret agents, spies that have cool tuxedos and cool suits. Like that's pretty cool. And I think, John Krasinski does that in Jack Ryan a little bit. Not because he's a spy, but because he's an analyst and works in an office. But maybe that's what gave him the little aura.
There you go.
All right. Well, my number 2 is probably your number 1. So we're just going to both hit it at the same time because I've already said my number 1 and you've already said your number 2. So my number 2 is none other than James Bond.
James Bond, number 1, baby.
James Bond.
James
I'll go
frickin'
first
Bond.
because I'm sure you got James frickin' Bond. I'll go first because I'm sure you've got a lot to say about it because you're a James Bond guy. I will say I have seen all of the Daniel Craig James Bonds.
Wow.
And I am proud of myself.
Okay.
Yeah. I have seen them all. I think you kind of got me on them when they were out. And I have seen them all. But I haven't seen any of the others. They've been around for 7,000 years. He was kind of the first spy, and he's been played by a bunch of different people, different movies. He's kind of a legend when it comes to spies. He is the example, I guess, that you kind of go off of when you're making a spy. When you think of spies, you think of James Bond. Like everybody knows who James Bond is, 007, like all that stuff. So he's kind of the top tier, I guess you could say, example, role model for spies. I just like the Jason Bourne movies more. That's the only reason I have. James Bond is probably the best spy of all time, if I was to rank spies. But I just like Jason Bourne, the action more. I will say, I'll say my favorite scene from the Daniel Craig movies, and that is the train fight when he's on the train and it's just going a million miles an hour basically.
Skyfall.
And Skyfall, yeah, it's on Skyfall, and they're like, take the shot before he falls off the train basically, or they think he falls off the train. So anyway, I have seen all the Daniel Craigs. For all those out there that are like, he's probably never even seen them. I have seen the Daniel Craig ones. I haven't seen the other ones. And I did enjoy them. I do like me some Daniel Craig. I think he's one of those guys that are funny just naturally, kind of a Nicolas Cage kind of guy. Like just the way he is funny. In Knives Out, he's funny. He's got funny accents in Knives Out. And so I do like Daniel Craig as James Bond. I will ask you this, and then I'll let you go into your spiel about Bond. Who is the best James Bond?
Phew. My goodness.
Is that a different episode?
I could do a whole episode ranking the James Bonds.
Oh my gosh. Give me one word, a first name.
All right. I mean, if I have to pick one, I
Or a
think
proper noun?
I think I just have to go with Sean Connery, if I'm being
Okay.
honest. The OG.
Ah.
Um,
Sean Connery, I. Trebek.
right. I mean, Connery is what made Bond as it is like in cinema. You know, obviously they were
Yeah.
based on a book series, but I mean, it became a whole different beast on the big screen, and that is largely due to Sean Connery's performance.
Yeah.
As 007, but yeah, I mean, James Bond's my number one. He's the reason really that I wanted to have this conversation. he's the gold standard, the blueprint. It's been doing it for over 60 years. I think the peak of Bond, you know, like if you talk about the best of Connery, with Goldfinger, From Russia with Love, you talk about the best of, like you said, Daniel Craig, Casino Royale, Skyfall. Pierce Brosnan is the Bond that I grew up on, really. I mean, he's the Bond of the 90s, but he was the Bond that my dad watched the most when I was a kid. So I grew up on the Brosnan movies, and I still love him as Bond. And then I've recently gotten into the Roger Moore 80s 80s James Bond movies, which are a lot more campy and a little more goofy than anything that I'm used to with Bond. But there's a certain charm about it that the franchise can be so different, and that the movies, there's, like I said, like, you know, like with the Mission Impossible movies, those first 5 anyways, so many directors have tackled Bond, and so many directors have given it their, you know, their special spin. So many actors, which is unlike anything else we've seen on this list. You know what I mean? There's if you don't like Daniel Craig as James Bond, guess what? There's like 6 other dudes that have played him. Go pick a different one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff. There's a little bit of something for everybody when it comes to Bond. And I mean, I feel like any dude that's ever put on a tuxedo has thought, yeah, look at this James Bond right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's just iconic. He's got the suits, he's got the tuxes, he's got the Aston Martin, the watches, the shaken, not stirred martinis. I mean, he gets the girl, he beats the bad guy in just about every movie. So he's just the king of cool. I feel like when it comes to movie characters in general, I feel like James Bond has got to be at least on the Mount Rushmore of cool movie characters.
Ooh.
So
There's
yeah, maybe that's another episode.
There's another. We got episode 42 planned. Just go ahead and do it right now.
But yeah, so yeah, man, I got James Bond at number one for sure. And I want to do a big rewatch. Maybe I'll do some mini episodes of like 10-minute James Bond reviews, just going through the whole franchise. So we'll see.
We've been talking about mini episodes. We actually need to do them.
Yeah, that's true
for sure. All right, well, there you have it. Episode 41, the one that we've been waiting for a while now. I guess we haven't been naming athletes for very long in our episodes, but you know, 41 is a special place in our heart because of the one and only Dirk. And we had to throw some movies in there as well. And James Bond is speaking of cool, Dirk is pretty cool.
He's pretty cool.
Not really. He was kind of a dorky dude, but he would bring his plate of leftovers. And, yeah, he was cool with the beard. But yeah, that's episode 41. We stuck to our yada yada themes of sports and movies, but specifically Mavs and then movies. The finals are going on right now. We are recording during Game 3, so you're welcome, yada yada listeners. We're getting it done during Game 3. We're going to catch the end of it. The World Cup is coming up. The United States plays this week, maybe like Thursday or something. I want to say
maybe,
something like that. But the World Cup does start this week.
I think they start in LA.
I think they're in LA, but they're playing at AT&T Stadium, Cowboys Stadium, and so the World Cup starting. We got a lot to talk about in the sports world coming up, with the NBA Finals probably ending before our next episode, and then the World Cup, and then the NFL is going to start. You know, NHL playoffs.
Real quick, you got the Knicks or the Spurs to Knicks are up 2-0 right now. Who you got winning?
Oh, I got the Knicks winning it. Yeah. I think the Spurs will win tonight. Tonight's Game 3, and we're recording it during it. Like I said, I think the Spurs win tonight. Actually, I really don't know. The Knicks might sweep them.
I would just love to see Brunson hoist the trophy. That'd be so cool.
I do like me some Jalen Brunson. I just like this is another tangent and we're going overtime, but I just like the Knicks because they're a good basketball team. They remind me a lot. I told this to my brother the other day, and this is not like me trying to find ways to get teams to remind me of the 2011 Mavs, but this team reminds me a lot of the 2011 Mavs. You have two pretty good superstars. Like, maybe not superstars, two pretty good, like, well-known players. Right. You have Jalen Brunson, you have Karl Anthony Towns. Okay, the Mavs had Dirk, and, like, Jason Kidd was probably their other one. Maybe Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler was more of a role defensive player. Like, and then you have really good role players that just do what they're supposed to do to win basketball games. Josh Hart might be my favorite player in the NBA right now because that dude just he just does winning things. If he needs to grab 15 rebounds in game 1 of the finals, he'll grab 15 rebounds, and he's like 6'3". If he needs to guard Wemby, like, he'll guard Wemby. If he needs to hit a 3 because they're sagging off of him, he'll hit a 3. Like, I just love Josh Hart. Mikal Bridges is really good role player. Mitchell Robinson is a really good role player. Like, OG Anunoby, really good at his role. Like, the Knicks are just a fun team to root for because they don't do any of the, like, they're just good basketball. They're just a good basketball team. And the fact that they're all Villanova guys, or most of them are Villanova guys, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think Jay Wright at Villanova knew what he was doing in breeding winners. And so that was a quick tangent on the Knicks, but I think the Knicks might sweep them. I don't see the Spurs winning in Madison Square Garden.
And it's such like it's an unexpected. It's a very unexpected. Like, just that the Knicks are here, first of all, but the fact that they're up 2-0 in the finals.
Well, and they've won like 14 straight or something like that in the playoffs.
Right. Like, after, like, it's such, like, they pulled a 180 after those first couple games against Atlanta. Like, it was just like, once they flipped that switch, that's like, and turned that series around, they've been playing out of their minds. Yeah. So it's crazy, man.
I think I am rooting for the Knicks. You said you were a closeted Knicks fan, but I think it's okay to go ahead and come out and be a full Knicks fan.
Honestly, I got a little Knicks merch around here.
Yeah, I do like me some Jalen Brunson, though. I wasn't a big Karl Anthony Towns fan for a while. Mm-hmm. He kind of dissed Dirk when he said he's the greatest shooting big man of all time, and that kind of turned me off of him. Right. But he's been pretty good. You know, he's kind of the same as Dirk. Like, people kind of saw him as soft and not really like, not a hard-nosed dude, but ever since he's been in New York, like, he's kind of turned it on. So I don't know. I think the Knicks will sweep them. I just don't see the Spurs winning in Madison Square Garden. But maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I want the series to continue.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, episode 41. Peace out.
That's it.